be seated. Once again, welcome to the Providus Bank Non-Oil Export Summit. Your host for today is the Group Head of Business Export for Providus Bank, Mr. Biodun Ario. He will be anchoring this morning. Please welcome Mr. Biodun Ario. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. And first, we would like to apologize for starting a bit behind schedule. This is not a practice, but we just had about a bit of traffic on the road, so we have to wait for other participants to join. We would like to specially thank everybody for being part of this event today, which is the 4th edition of this particular event. We are quite thankful for those who could make it quite early. Our special thanks goes to the government agencies here present, the exporters here present, and all our friends that are here, the friends of Providus Bank, that wants to at least have this ventilation option around the market and how export is done. I can assure you that today
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, our guests. Thank you very much, just like my colleague has said, for making this time with us. We appreciate you greatly, and we thank you. My MD, Mr. Walter Akpani, had an urgent assignment I needed to attend, and that's why I couldn't make it this morning. But we thank you because you are all here. So I'm going to read his address as we start the session. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure for me to welcome all the stakeholders to this 4th edition of our webinar on export business. The session was born out of our continuous aspiration for growth in export volume, in trade earnings, and also to enhance collaboration with major stakeholders in trade businesses. This edition is scheduled to hold in order to advance the previous editions that we have held successfully. Particularly, we had one in the 4th quarter 2022, we had one in the 2nd quarter last year, and also the 4th quarter 2023. We anticipate a far-reaching benefit for all the participants here today, and also the attendees, as we set out to entrench our support for stakeholders in agribusiness, in mining, in metals, in African fashion, and general trading businesses within Nigeria. Fashion export seems to be the new inclusion in this park, as it has been undermined by stakeholders, despite its rank in the hierarchy of needs. We understand the need for the tentacle to be expanded. Hence, we are delighted to continuously beam strong ray of light on the any possibilities that is embedded in export business, while we continue to upscale the capacity within our other areas of endeavor. So as a future-forward bank, we have advanced in our support for export business through various ambitious strategies that enabled us to achieve the feat that we are today, with appetite, strong appetite for export business. The event today is therefore an advancement of the CBN objective on exports and ultimately the government's aspiration towards a sustainable growth in non-oil exports in Nigeria. So this event is centered on the theme, non-oil exports, the past, the present, and the future. So a lot of deliberations are going to come up today, and we want to elicit a lot of responses from the audience, because our economy belongs to us, and we need to hold it in our hands so that we can drive this economy positively and also see the impact on our society. So this session promises to be an engaging one, as it is well arranged with robust speakers and panel sessions. Participants shall have the opportunity to ask related questions from speakers and, of course, get undiluted responses through their expertise. It will interest you to know that we have advanced as an FI, financial institution, with giant footprints in trade businesses. With the way we are set up, following various support and business enhancing instruments that the bank has been able to put together. For example, we have tailor-made trade support services by way of advisories, similar processing of our NXPs, and of course dedicated export desks with traditional and structured trade finance initiatives. We know that not just one cap fits all. Once we see the transaction, we structure it. I was talking to the SA, to the president. I said I was in Abuja the whole of last week. And he was asking me, CRO usually should sit at the end office. And I was telling him, I said, in the whole days, we sit at the head office. And by the time we are getting response, we are telling them, you didn't dot the I very well, return it to the client. They dot the I, they bring it back to us, say, you didn't underline it quite well, please return it to the client. So by now, we want to sit with the client so that we can understand the structure. And everything that we need to do, we do it at that level. So if you are going to say yes, we say yes. If it's going to be a no, even the client will be happy because we will understand it together. That's the way we have been running the system, and it has helped us a great while. So we are sincerely proud of the invited speakers and participants who have honored our invitation today to be part of this event. Thank you so much for coming, and those that are still on their way. We're indeed grateful for having the Apex Bank, CBN, Nexim Bank, we have the NEPC, we have the Nigerian Shippers Council, the Nigeria Trade and Investments, and other distinguished guests. We have the SA to the president. We also have the president of Gemstone Association, and a whole lot of others are here. Thank you very much for being here. I think we can put a round of applause to them. So, to us, you have shown a great zeal and commitment to this drive, so that together, private sector, as FI, the government, and also the practitioners, the operators in these various sectors, we can all sit together as stakeholders and deal with various issues that might require our attention so that we can drive the business and we can drive the economy. That's the whole essence of our being here. So we thank you for coming. The importers who have indicated interest to commence a new drive are also highly commended for the race towards sustainability and self-sufficiency. As Providus Bank, we remain committed to always provide all support within our reach to you at any time. Once you call us, we are available. I can assure you that the topic under discussion today will inspire you to conquer more territory as we continue to build a sustainable export business in Nigeria. We run a very flat structure. The MD, the DMD, the ED, all of us are on the road because we don't want to sit back and the clients are the other side there. We want to sit with you and hear from your own angle, and then we can conceptualize together and put the right structure. So at any point in time, we are available to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, please be reassured that Providus Bank stands ready to support our clients as we work together in these efforts to grow a sustainable export-based economy. We thank you for coming and thank you for listening. Thank you very much.
A round of applause for the CRO. Thank you so very much for the opening speech. Thank you. Just like he has underscored, there are so many benefits we will gain in this particular event today. And part of it is the update around how export is done, as well as if you are a new entity trying to go into export business, how do you actually kick off, commence, engage with the counterparties that you need to sell to, and again, how do you get the funding required to get export done? At this juncture, I would like to specially welcome the Comptroller General of Custom, Comptroller General Jibola Odusonya. A round of applause for him, please. Thank you very much, sir, and thank you for coming. I would also like to recognize the presence of the representative of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Mr. Arnold Jackson. A round of applause for him, please. Also, I have a wonderful lady who is always very passionate about shipping, and that is Ms. Adaura Nwono. She represents Nigerian Shippers Council. A round of applause for her, please. Also, we'll have the special advisor to the President on Export, Office of the Vice President. He's been here since. And then Alaji Aliyu Buno Sheriff, as I will always like to call him. At this point, he will be the one that will come and speak to us. But please join me in clapping for him. He's been here for a while. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you. So he will actually speak on creating a business-friendly environment for export and trade business facilitation in Nigeria. I will read a bit of his bio. Aliyu Bono Sheriff is a chartered accountant and special assistant on export expansion to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Office of the Vice President. He is a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants, ICANN, and has also completed the Association Chartered Certified Accountants qualification. His academic achievements include first-class BA in Business Studies from Wisconsin International University College, Ghana, and MSc in Professional Accountancy with merit from the University of London, and ongoing PhD studies in Financial Intelligence at the University of South Africa. Sharif has a wealth of experience in financial analysis and credit management, having worked at the Nigerian Export-Import Bank and other financial institutions. His work focuses on policy development, international trade agreements, and enhancing Nigeria's export landscape. His professional expertise in organization management and financial analysis makes him a valuable asset in navigating the complexities of trade, policies, and export expansion. Please join me by a thunderous clap in welcoming Aliyu Bono Sheriff. Thank you.
The MD of Providus Bank, heavily represented by the Chief Risk Officer, Mr. Olukbile, the Executive Director of the NEPC, represented by the Director, Mr. Arnold, the Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture, Lagos State, the Comptroller General of Customs Services, representative of Shippers Council, other heads of government agencies and parastatals here present, other heads of private sector organizations here present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen of the press, please permit me to stand under the existing protocol. It's a great honor to be here today to witness this great occasion, the non-oil export sector in Nigeria. Nigeria's history as a significant exporter of agricultural products such as cocoa, palm oil, and granules predates the oil boom. However, over time, our economy became heavily reliant on oil, leaving us vulnerable to global price fluctuations. Today, we recognize the importance of returning to a diversified economy with a robust non-oil sector. In recent years, the government has prioritized creating a conducive environment for exporters. This includes reforms aimed at streamlining export procedures, reducing the bureaucratic bottlenecks that hinder trade, and improving infrastructure at key ports to facilitate the smooth movement of goods and services. Initiatives like the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBEC, have been instrumental in simplifying the regulatory environment, making it easier for businesses to obtain export licenses, access trade incentives, and comply with international standards. Infrastructure remains a key focus. Projects to improve transportation networks, logistics hub, and energy supply are central to reducing the cost of doing business and enhancing our competitiveness. The completion of the deep sea ports and improvements in road and rail connectivity will reduce delays and cut costs of exporters. These investments are critical as Nigeria seeks to become a major player in the African Continental Free Trade Area, where seamless trade across borders is essential. Access to financing is another area where we are addressing through initiatives such as the Export Expansion Grant and loans from development finance institutions. The government is providing the much needed capital to businesses to scale up their export operations, particularly in the agriculture, manufacturing, and solid mineral sectors. This key is to ensuring that small and medium-sized enterprises, which form the backbone of our economy, are empowered to enter new markets. The role of technology cannot be overstated. Digital platforms are being developed to enable exporters to access real-time market information, automate trade processes, and reduce delays caused by paper-based documentation. By leveraging innovation, we are creating a future where Nigerians' goods can move quickly and efficiently across borders. Looking ahead, we remain committed to organizing the National Export Summit in early 2025, which will bring together key stakeholders across industries to discuss strategies for enhancing Nigeria's export landscape. This summit will be a springboard for the next phase of our export expansion, with a particular focus on public-private partnerships and innovative trade solutions. In conclusion, we are creating a future where Nigeria thrives not only as an oil exporter, but as a global leader in non-oil exports. With the right infrastructure, financing, and business-friendly policies, our exporters will have the tools they need to succeed. Together, we can build an economy that leverages our natural resources and human capital to compete on the global stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't know if there are comments or questions for him, or we'll hold all of that till later. Thank you very much. A round of applause for him too. Thank you. At this point, we will invite the representative of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Mr. Arnold Jackson, to give a speech on the topic tagged Building a Sustainable Non-Oil Export Business in Nigeria. The most important thing for all of us is to achieve this feat of diversifying the economy, because the thought and the direction of the country was just on the direction of oil. And the wish of all is for us to have that thought around how we could actually generate foreign exchanges from other means possible. Please join me with a round of applause in inviting, when I invite Mr. Arnold Jackson to the podium to deliver his speech. Thank you.
Good morning. It's so cold now. Is it the AC you want to reduce the AC first? Good morning. Yeah, more like it. That's for the MD, Providus Bank. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a speech maker, but sometimes I went to a meeting, they said, I don't know, it's left for you to agree or not, whether it's good to say you stand on the established protocol or whatever. So I really stand on the protocol that is established. Is that right? But I need a feedback. I need a feedback. Otherwise, I'll sleep. Navigating the nature, the future, trends and opportunities transforming the export sector. By the way, my name is Arnold, and I represent the Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian Export Promotion Council. I want to say a very big thank you to the organizers of this event, and welcome every dignitary that is present here today. I see my friend now. We've never really met the essay to the president. We had a lot of discussion, which will also, in line with what he has said, will advance this further. But most importantly, if you look at I want to start a little bit. Nigerian Export Promotion Council is an agency of government that was established for a while to diversify and promote non-oil export in the country. Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa. Do you agree? Are we still the largest in Africa? I'm going to need a little bit of feedback. Otherwise, this thing will be a bit boring for me. I don't like to do presentation. There's a difference between presentation and discussion. Which one do you prefer? Presentation? I need a small feedback so that I can also flow. Do you agree that Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa? Great. Because of what, no matter the situation that we are talking about, those people said, is it South Africa, one other country had overtaken and all, but we still believe we are the giant of Africa. Since the discovery of oil, you know, a lot of things went somewhere a little bit different from what we used to know, which that will lead me to the historical fact about the future, the past, the present, and what is expected in the non-oil sector. However, there was a lot of over-dependency on oil sector after the boom. But sometimes, well, that was a new thing, new czar in town. Everybody wanted, it was a lot easier. We left what was our primary source. In the 60s, that's the boom era, the non-oil era, we were doing well. The economy was moving. People were doing very well. The dollars and those were a lot easier. We had a lot of impact on ourselves and the economy of the world. But when the oil, was it boom or doom? When the oil boomed, some of these things were forgotten. You know, I had a friend one day, he said, was the oil really booming or dooming the country or the economy? But well, let's not go there. At the post-oil era, we left most of those primary things that we did, that we knew how to do better, and we also had much more money and security. We left those things and faced this. And the over-dependency on this oil has become another problem for us. That's why the guy said, apparently it's not really booming, it's giving us another problem. But in this regard, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council has been trying to find some sustainable way. That's the government of the day, when the council was inaugurated in 1976, had found several ways of diversifying the economy. How can we diversify and promote it to also be able to leverage on what we had? The oil was not meant to counsel the non-oil. It was meant to complement. But a lot of times, so many things are. So the government came with some effort, introduction of export promotion policies, export expansion grant, duty drawback, as at then, though duty drawback has, I think, has been jettisoned and replaced by the Export Development Fund. Then we talk about the free trade zones, effort to revive agricultural sector and promote non-manufactured sector. Are we together? Are we following? First, we had the oil. We had the pre-oil era, we have the oil era, and now this is the post-oil. I don't know whether we should be the post-oil. I'll talk about the post-oil, and that's where my emphasis is going to be on. My question is, do we have to leave what we know how to do best to what? Because when you're talking about the oil, before the oil sector, the economy, the number of people that were employed was higher than this in terms of agriculture. The oil sector is is a small sector. Yes, it might have so much money in it, but the number of people that is employed is a bit smaller than when we were depending on this, or even the non-oil export as it is now. Are we in? Nigeria's non-oil export sector has been significant, seen significant growth in recent years, driven by government's ongoing effort to diversify the economy away from non-oil export or from oil dependency. Now, there are so many initiatives. We had a special advisor to the vice president on the initiatives of government to diversify the economy, to take our minds back from where we are now, the oil dependency, to the non-oil, which is the next line of economic defense. We must, of a necessity, embrace this sector, because this is what gives us enormous employment and revenue generation, and at the same time, the distribution is wide, unlike the oil sector that's a little bit unilateral. So those are the government has come with so many incentives, so many policies aimed at, we're talking about the Renew Hope agenda. This is in line with that Renew Hope agenda. And for us to do, we also need to look at the trend. We're diversifying the export sector. How are we using it? Rising contribution from agriculture. Is agriculture, that's what we knew how to do. We used to say, oh, Nigeria is an agrarian society. Are we still the agrarian society today? Are we still the agrarian society today? Why? We need to go back to the basics. Do you agree that we need to go back to the basics? I need a feedback. We need to go back to the basics. I just explained something that when we go back to the basics, you have a lot of people employed. The food security we are talking about is also ensured or guaranteed. And revenue will come more. The economy will improve. Whether we like it or not, I know there are challenges in the agricultural sector, but it will also help to improve the economy of the nation. And by so doing, it dows the insecurity and other vices. So we must, of a necessity, go back. And let me also say this. In Nigeria has some product that is the #1 producers in the world. And if we are not able to utilize these opportunities, other people will come and take it and sell back to us. And we pay at a premium, instead of we giving to them and they paying at a premium. So these are things that we need to deliberately start thinking and also doing, because that's where the whole thing is. When you think about it, you also do. It's in doing that will help us to come out of this economic situation we are finding ourselves today. The SMEs, over the global society, SME is the bedrock of any economy. And most of these people are at the SME level. That's why I was saying SME employs over 95% of the population. But the non-oil, the oil sector will employ less that amount. So everybody wants an employment. As children, our relations, and also they need to be employed. So where will they be employed? A lot of people cannot be employed in oil and gas sector. It's a very small sector that needs, some they say is specialized. Well, I'm not in that sector, so I may not really know so much about that sector. But I think we should, where you have a comparative advantage, we should. And of course that impacts on the economy. It impacts a lot on the economy. When we go into the sector, as it were, the focus is not just to carry, that's why I said earlier on, to carry our product and give out. How many of us know when we send cocoa beans to Netherlands, they bring it back to us as chocolate. Maybe they use 2 or 3, 4 seeds and bring it back to us. We pay 1,000 naira. How much is it? 2, 3, 4 seeds of beans. So the value addition is what we in the Nigerian Export Promotion Council is always, and of course by extension, the government generally is, very particular about. When you add value to what you are sending, you are adding value, you are getting a premium, and apart from that, you are creating an employment for the people down the line. So they don't just come in, carry our goods on their back like Kelebe and across the border, and then they bring it back to us in a finished product and ask us to pay extra for what we should have naturally, benefited more. So it's important we add value in whatever product we want to export. How many of us agree that we should add value? Do you buy chocolate? How many people buy chocolate bars, Mars, and all that for children? How many cocoa beans are inside one bar? How much it is the amount of, how much is that for 4 beans? They just bring it with sugar. They just add sugar to us and sell to us at a very high cost, 800, 1,000, depending on where you're buying from. It doesn't make sense. So for us, the focus should be on the value addition. When you add value to product and process, then it makes more sense. That's why the government initiative that has also come up with some incentive and other initiatives to encourage people to add value to what we do. When you add value, we're talking about sustainability. When you add value, you have jobs retained, you have technology development, you have a lot of things that will impact on this work and will give you some sustainability and so on. Otherwise, if you just carry this in, what if the market has an issue today? You don't have any fallback. But when you have a value addition center, you have more of the addition. So it's important for us to be able to, so that we can have a sustainable economic growth, we need to add value to some of these things. The government initiatives is also helping, where there's a lot of things, value initiatives, such as Zero Oil Plan and the Nigerian Promotion Export Programs. For us, we've done so much to encourage people to add value. When you take the products just like that, you bring in a little, just a little in terms of revenue. So for us, we are losing. For them, they are gaining. We outsource our jobs to those people when we don't add value. We sell our own fortune to them when we don't add value. So we want to, and we have series, as time goes on, I'll be talking about some of the plans that we have to encourage exporters to add values in their product. I just want to take our minds back, since we are talking about past, present, and the future. If you take our minds back to the revenue that non-oil is generating today, we're not there yet, but we are on our way today. We've left where we used to be. We are not there yet, we are still on our way. But it's important, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. And if you look at the last, 2020 figure, we had almost 4.82 billion in dollars. That was what happened in 2022. We had a small drop in 2023, 4.48, because of that was an election year. A lot of activities went on and that maybe disrupted a little bit of our operations. People were focused on the next election and so on. But now, this is 2024. We have, if you look at the half year this in, I don't know whether it's there on that slide. The half year accrual was 2.7. I know it's a far cry from what the customs people were. The man is looking at me with something saying, we're not there yet. We're on our way to there. Are we in together? So it's important when we add value, we will get more in returns than selling the raw good. And that sustains the economy. That sustains even whatever we're doing. And it will help to develop the Nigerian economy. The next slide talks about those figures. And I try to explain, I don't know much time. Now, let me even say this. There's something that we discovered that was a bit interesting to us. This zobo, hibiscus, I think in Jigawa alone, they had about $140 million just in 1 year. Zobo, one product, $140 million. And for us, it looks like a very small, or sometimes we drink Zobo on the street. But the value of Zobo today is on the increase, especially with the inroad to Mexico and other things. So there is a lot of, emphasis on it. One state, 1 year. There's Zobo in Jigawa, there's Zobo in Kano, there's Zobo in a lot of other northern countries. But if we concentrate on that, we can do more. That's just one product. And that's to tell you that there's a lot of potentials. And if it's done in a sustainable manner, it will always remain with us. That's why for us, if you look at the overview, what we do, Nigeria Export Promotion Council, like I said earlier, is the apex government agency for the promotion of diversity and promotion of non-oil export in Nigeria. We have a vision to make the world a marketplace for Nigerian non-oil export. How do we go there? How do we do that? To spearhead the diversification of the Nigerian economy by expanding and increasing non-oil export for sustainable and inclusive economic growth. All this grammar we were speaking earlier is to bring in sustainability for this growth. And that's what our vision is, to make every part of the world a marketplace for non-oil export. If somebody said, if you go to anywhere in the world and you don't find a Nigerian or Igbo or whatever, leave that place in a hurry. So if we can say that, that means that at every point in time where you have a Nigerian, that should be a marketplace for the Nigerian, even where there's no Nigerian. Because some of them that buys, the foreigners buy from us too. So that's our vision, and that's what we hope to promote. And it's important. And how do we do it? We've developed this product and diversify the economy. And of course, part of the things we do is to assist the companies, export-related companies. When you are into export business, we can assist you, technical support and otherwise. We train, we have capacity building for all the people. If we don't have the expertise, we get people, and most of our programs are free. So that gives us, an edge for every willing heart that wants to go into export business, genuinely to go through the route of it. You are welcome. We have offices all over the world, the countries. In the 36 states of the country, we have offices that covers each of those regions and states. So it's important. And not only that, we also help in the incentive side. We help the government actively articulate and promote the implementation of export policies and programs of the Nigerian government. Any incentive, like the EEG somebody mentioned earlier on, though we are not the custodian, we are not we articulate, we support, we like a secretariat. The customs are here, they're all agencies, multi-agency committee. So we just serve as a secretariat to ensure we follow up once the thing is approved and the necessary, then the due diligence is done. That's part of the things that we do. We develop, we promote, we assist agencies, companies, and also we support them with the incentive that is provided by the government. Part of the services we give is export registration, registered non-exporters. We also train, I said it earlier on, advisory and coaching services, support for women in export. People are talking about inclusiveness. We do that. In fact, not only the women now, we're talking about the youth and also the people with, how do you call it? I don't want to use the right word. Not the physically challenged. What other word do they call it? Special needs. We also have a unit or a department that handles issues like those with women, youth, and those with special needs. So these are some of the services that we render. We also provide market information to any product. We'll go on advocacy where there's a need for us to meet with other government that is involved or in charge of trade promotion in any aspect, we always interface with them and on their behalf. So we do that. We've done quite a lot with the customs. We've done quite a lot with the quarantine, the Shippers Council, everyone. We're not competitors. We are collaborators. We always collaborate with every agencies of government that is involved in trade facilitation. Because when that is done, that also will help to facilitate trade and also enhance export promotion activities. What are the current trends? We are all aware of the current trend in international trade. I don't want to bore you there's a slide on that. You can just flip that because of time. There's a particular place I would talk about a little bit. Of course, this is also one, but under this, no, move a little, one more slide again. Okay, I'm going to talk on the trade in services trade. And I was sharing with somebody earlier on that trade in services is even taking over the world, the GDP of the world today. The developed economies today, their services, the GDP of the developed world today is between 70, 75, even 80% of the GDP in services. Services is what is the next line of economic defense for any, listen, Americans don't talk about oil price drop, because if it drops, that means the GDP drops. If it rises, sometimes the global is volatile. So most of them don't even talk about it. Even agriculture, yes they do. But what drives the economy most of the times is the services sector. And now they say, if not 80%, 90% of the people seated in this hall today are service providers in one way or the other. And most times they don't even know. And that's where the world is. As of today, what drives the services sector contributes about 54, 56% of our own GDP. So it's a huge sector that we need to deliberately develop if we must. If you doubt me, look at what happened in 2020 after the COVID. Before then, people were not doing parties online. People were not doing meetings online. People were not doing, but after that, that became a necessity. Some people are going to work 2 times, 3 times a week, while the other ones are done online. So this is the next line of economic defense. It is highly resilient when you have a problem. When there was no movement, nothing, okay, we can't move, we can't trade, we can't go to farm, every lockdown. Services was not locked down. Just one aspect of services that was locked down, which is the logistics. But even at that, they still found some way, because people were still having some designated reason to move items from one place or delivery. But tourism and logistics were a little bit affected, or transport or traveling. But every other one, meetings, people were holding meetings online. People were transacting banking system. People were doing everything online. And that has come to stay. Therefore, we should not. Most of the world, somebody says, when we talk about the world is the global economy, it is driven specifically by the services sector. As we are seated here today, some part of the world are already sleeping. And some people are doing outsourcing jobs for them. When they wake up, the work continues. That was some man said that the world is not spherical anymore. It is a flat. The world is flat with a bump. I didn't read geography. I know I might have a problem with those that study geography. But I'm just talking about technology. Technology has flattened the world today. That's why you can sit down here and do transaction. That's why you can sit down here and send email, make phone calls, do all manner of things. So that alone is enabled. And by the way, in the export of product, 60% of services is employed. Otherwise, it is not this. So when you want to export, let me break it down. You need logistics services, you need insurance services, you need banking, financial services, you need all sort of things. If you add all those things, these are value-added services, it's up to about 60-65%. Therefore, it is a sector that we should, that's a new trend that we are talking about, the current trend. That's what drives the economy of the world today. Let's move so that I won't bore people. But if I bore you, you can as well tell me I can leave. What are the challenges that we think we have? It's not a new thing for everybody here, I believe. I'm sure if I ask 10 people, what are the challenges of the sector? 9 would always say, infrastructural deficiencies, inconsistent policies. Thank God the answer to the VP is here. In that aspect of policies, we need to drive that thing because it's also a very serious issue. Some policies of government I'm a government person, so I will not say this, but some are a little bit not too flexible. Some affect, so maybe they need to be a well thought out plan or consultation before we take some of the policies so that we will not be running at cross purposes. That's very key. It's a challenge, although. Lack of market information. Market information, if you don't know where you are sending your product to, you might have the best product, but if you don't have the market or you have a wrong market, for instance, if I have a well-packaged, pork, excuse my language, this thing, you can't send such product to the Saudi and the Islam world. It will never fly. Yes, they say, this market, there's a market there. What product are you sending? So you need to know the market information of that place you are sending so that you will not, suffer a loss. Because if you send such to that other country, then there's a problem. In terms of packaging, in terms of the demography, in terms of all the things you need to put down, this country, this is what they want. This is what goes there. You need to know. So the market information is very important. Okay, my product is for the aged people. What's the demography of the people in that place? Or my product is for the youth, or it's for the younger ones. What percentage of the people are there? If I send this in, will it be accepted? How will it fare? So those information matters a lot. And of course, the global competition. It doesn't matter whether your policies are wrong or right. What is the international market saying about your product? That's why the Nigerian government, in a bid to forestall some of these things, came up with some incentives. Because of the harsh economic environment we are operating, because there's competition everywhere, they now came up with an incentive, the Export Expansion Grant, and other incentives that will help. Things like pioneer status and the rest for those that are applicable. So these are some of the things for us to be able to meet the competition that the world is, presenting to us. For us to be sustainable, we must, of a necessity, take into consideration some of these things. And of course, the quality standard, that's, for us, we have what we call Go Global, Go. I will talk about that. These are the initiatives. Quality standard, gone are the days when Nigerians will say, well, it doesn't matter, just send it anyhow. If you send your product anyhow to anywhere, you have that product returned anyhow. So the quality standard is very key and it's very important. You must, of a necessity, be able to understand what sells in that matter, what quality, what is the quality. Don't just send. Ask them for the quality specification of what you want. Most times you require you sending a sample for them to test. There are so many other agencies that handles policies, quality assurance. Please ensure you play by the rule. Otherwise, when you send a substandard product to somewhere and it's rejected, now you have to pay for the repatriation of that company or that product, or for the destruction of that product in that country. You pay. So whichever way you lose, and it is a very bad thing for the image for us. So please ensure you meet the quality standard. There are some initiatives that we in the council have embarked on to increase. As a trade promotion organization, we have some initiative that we have tried to put in. We have this goal we'll analyze. Let me skip, it's already there. Let me just go straight because of time. We have the council has specifically identified a top 20 agricultural product. You know, we have over 1,000 products. You know, when the AGOA came, we said, okay, they listed over 6,400 products, but we can't trade in all those, and we don't have comparative advantage in all those. So for us in the council, we try to say, okay, what are our best 20 products? What product do we can say today, if you, the ranking, which one are the best that we know we have comparative advantage? Which one do we have that some of them we are number 1, number 2, number 3. Let's even concentrate on those ones. So we develop 10 companies who are in any of those, or, you know, that's stated down. Let's see which market, 5 markets that we can leverage. That's why we export 20, export 35, redefined. 20 products that we have that is tradable and has a more comparative advantage. 10 companies that are doing well in those sectors, and 5 markets that we know we will, leverage. We can't do it alone. We don't have all the competencies. In terms of trade facilitation, the custom is always there to help out and to show us the way. In terms of quality assurance, we have the NAFDAC, we have the SUN, Standards Organization, quarantine services. All the trade facilitation agencies are partners. Where we have issue, we run to them. If it's a Shippers Council, we have issue, can you intervene? Where if it's plant-related issue, quarantine, can you help us in this thing? If it is, in fact, by the way, quarantine and I think custom also, that conditioning center for hibiscus, they were the one that made it possible in Kano. That's why the export also increased, Now, wherever we have a challenge, we know who to reach out to. Is it the customs? Oh, we are having issues there. Please, custom, can you help us to facilitate this aspect? And that's why we said we're not competitors, we're collaborators, we are partners, and that's what makes the trade. That's what sustains non-oil export in the country. I talked about certification earlier on. We have a slogan. We say, "Go global, go certification." That's one of our hallmark in the council. What we mean by that is, if you want to compete favorably and if you want to make an impact in the global market, please, there are some mandatory certification that you have to, of a necessity, embark on. And sometimes the council will do those certification. We're certified for some SMEs free of charge. Example is the HACCP, HACCP critical hazard analysis critical control point. We do that certification process for some exporters. Then with the FDA, we also help facilitate that. We pay. No, we don't have money. Thank God the customs people are here, so they can always loan us some money to pay next time. We want to increase the number of SMEs that benefit from that. Recently, I think we are looking at another maybe 300 or so. We're selecting those that are, we feel their product meets those qualifications. We also talk about the organic certification. These are things that will help. We are looking at traceability as well. That's also very important, especially in the international market. So these are some of the things we are trying to do to encourage people in the aspect of go global, go certification, so that our product will be certified good in that international market. Sometimes we also take them on trade fairs. But you see, we have a challenge when we go for trade fairs. And I need to say this, and it's very important for us to listen. When we go for trade fairs, it's not only to go and sell. It's only for you to go and connect, go and establish contact, go and generate this. But most of the times, oh, I went there with 10,000 or maybe 100 pieces of cloth or this. I was able to sell 50. That's not what we want. We want you to say, okay, at the end, we were able to generate contract. The sustainable export. That will sustain that trade, that export, than just selling without knowing who those people are. After that, so what next? You've sold 100 pieces. So what? How do you connect with those people? So it's important when you we take people out on trade fair and trade missions, trade exhibition, but the major thing, we try to make them with the countries, that country, with those sectors. Please always connect. That's what matters. It's not about how many sales you've made. And there's something we are doing. Let me skip a little bit. The due. There's something for us to also have a good edison. There's what we call domestic export warehouse. The customs part of it, the Shippers Council, the NAFDAC, SON, every agency of government, we have one export, domestic export warehouse. All the clearing houses, that's regulatory agencies are in that place. Once it is done, once the product is inspected and everything is certified okay and is sealed, that product, the NPA will send a token. They announce, okay, it's time for you to come into the port. So you avoid delay, congestion on the road, and all sorts. So you just drive straight to the point. The seal will not be tampered.